back to Fire Princess Reviews. I'm Fire Princess Lily here to tell you about comics, cartoons, and other awesome nerd shit. So, today we're talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, probably the best Spider-Man movie ever created. And I know what you're thinking, that's not a very high bar to jump. I mean, other than Homecoming, what other Spider-Man movies does it have to compete with? And look, I hear you. We've had 6 Spider-Man movies previously before this. Maybe you're all Spider-Man'd out and you just need a fucking break. Cool. You're doing yourself a total disservice by missing this movie if you haven't already. If you haven't seen this movie, this Spider-Man movie, you are missing out on the greatest Spider-Man movie ever created. It's got something for fucking everybody, okay? From comic book fans, just casual movie watchers that know not very much about the Spider-Man lore. This is a good movie. This was made totally for everybody, and it outperforms in ways that people were expecting it to fail. So, go see it. Go see it. Especially go see it if you're going to watch this video, because, look, spoilers happen on this channel. Of course they happen on this channel. I do my best, but it always slips out. Boom. And so I'm just warning you, as I always do, the spoilers are going to be in this video. Maybe there'll be big spoilers, maybe there'll be small spoilers, but if you don't want to be spoiled, if you're like, I'm waiting for the DVD or Blu-ray to come out before I see this movie, don't watch this video because I'm going to ruin it for you. What you should do is go watch the movie in theaters because it's worth the price of admission. I know that ticket prices are crazy. Maybe go earlier in the day, catch a break. Maybe, I don't know, do what you gotta do, but you should see this movie in theaters. It's good enough to see. Just from an artistic standpoint, if you love art, not just animation, art in general, this movie is a fucking... Okay, so somebody told me before I saw Aquaman that Aquaman is a feast for the eyes, and it's not that Aquaman isn't a feast for the eyes. It's certainly visually interesting and entertaining, and I like it. But if Aquaman is a feast for the eyes, then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is a King's-style, 13-course meal of, epic proportions, never to be seen ever again style of feast for the eyes. It is just, it is almost too much how, amazing this art is. And they worked for 2 years to get it right. They, worked 2 years to get it right, and it shows. Their hard work and dedication to this style, to this movie, to this franchise, shows in this movie. It is a love letter to everything Spider-Man from an artistic standpoint alone. It is the very embodiment of a living comic book. And if you've heard somebody on YouTube say that before, it's not because, they're being paid to say that. I'm obviously not sponsored by anybody in any kind of way. Send those royalty checks if you want to. I don't care. So if you've heard somebody on YouTube say it already, it's not because they've been paid to say it, or maybe they have been paid to say it, but I haven't been, right? So you can trust me to tell you that it is the very embodiment of a living comic book. It uses everything from 2D to 3D to a dot shading from comic books in order to create the most incredible mix of animation styles and artwork. If you didn't know, if you haven't been watching the trailers, and some people don't, you should know that there are 6 different Spider people in this movie. And even though they're all there, they're all drawn in totally different ways, well, Peter B. Parker, Spider-Gwen, or Gwen Stacy, and Miles all have a similar style, but the other 3, they have different styles. We have Penny Parker, who's a bit anime inspired, which is interesting considering her comic book wasn't necessarily anime style to begin with. Yes, she is a real comic character if you didn't know. Spider-Noir has a gritty, classic, noir style. He's black and white. And Peter Porker, this amazing Spider-Ham, he is a cartoon. And the styles should totally not work together in any kind of ways. but they do blend it in such a manner that that even though, yes, it does look different and it's easy to tell which characters are which characters, no matter what scene is happening, they do look like they belong together in those scenes. Boom. There. Did it. And the movie is about Miles. You might be worried that there's so many other Spider people. Sorry, I said 6 other Spider people than Miles. That's because there's a Peter Parker in Miles' universe. And, spoiler alert, like I said, he doesn't make it. He is in the movie for 20 minutes. I mean, and not even, when you think about it. About 25 minutes in, he totally bites the dust. And it's not like he's there all 25 minutes. He's on screen, then he's off screen, and then we get back to him being on screen, and then he dies. That's what happens. So, this is totally about Miles. Even with all the other Spider people, all their interactions with Miles add to his story. And sure, this isn't exactly how it happened in the Ultimate Universe, like in the comics, but it still works. It's still good. Yeah. If all the other Spider-Man movies that we've ever seen are about, with great power comes great responsibility. Responsibility is the message of Spider-Man, that if you can do good, you should do good. That's your responsibility as a person. Miles' story is about expectations and living up to the expectations that people set for you. Living not only up to those expectations, but exceeding them. And it's really shown throughout the entire movie. The entire movie is really about Miles and how he feels pressured from every side to, like, be something that he is not sure he can be. Like, he's starting a new school, and he doesn't know if he can make it in this school. And rather than find out and fail, he would rather just quit and, drop out of that school and go back to his old school. And he does his best to try to do that, but nobody's going to let him quit. Like, he is expected to live up to these expectations they've set for him. His father has expectations for him to live up to, because he knows his kid is smart. And he doesn't want his kid to work like a regular, shitty 9-to-5 every day. He doesn't want his son to become a cop. If his son ever had the idea to become a cop, he doesn't want that for him. He wants him, to use that brain and do bigger things. And the only person who, the only person who maybe doesn't have any expectations of Miles is his Uncle Aaron. But that's not necessarily entirely true either. His Uncle Aaron, who is the Prowler, who is one of Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery's villains, so he doesn't make it either. He doesn't make it either. And it's there are so many touching moments in this movie. I cried so much during this movie. I've seen it once, but I cried a lot. I'm going to see it again as soon as I possibly can, but, it is what it is. Miles' uncle just wants Miles to live up to, his own expectations of himself. To stop selling himself short and, be that person who believes in themselves. That's what Aaron wants for Miles. And Miles looks up to Aaron, and Miles does look up to Jefferson, his father. He looks up to both of them, and he's kind of caught in the middle because they don't quite speak to each other, and they both have different kinds of sets of expectations for him. And then he gets a bit by the spider, and that throws everything totally out of whack, right? Because now there's a new expectation, especially, so he does this great graffiti piece with his uncle. His uncle takes him to a place to go do it because he has this great idea, and his uncle wants to nurture that artistic drive that Miles has. That's the kind of, he wants that. He wants Miles to do the art and be like himself. And so, in that moment, Miles gets bit by the spider. It's actually kind of a funny moment because he's taking a picture of the graffiti artwork he did. Spider just casually walks over his hands, and I guess they kind of freak each other out a little bit, and the spider bites, of course, which Miles responds with and kills the spider. It's great. It's Not like, ah, you know, like we've seen with other spider people where they're like, oh, my hand. He's just like, stop it, you know? It's great. So Miles, once he starts, like, his powers start developing, he doesn't know how to control them. Like, you know, he's sticking to things he doesn't want to stick to. He's doesn't know what's going on. So he's like, this is like just like a weird puberty thing that they didn't explain to me. I'm a normal kid. Of course, now he's like super athletic. He's jumping over over cars. He's like, I'm gonna go find that spider. That spider wasn't anything special, right? I got bit by a spider. Weird things are happening, but that doesn't mean I'm a spider person. So finds the spider. It is not a normal spider, and he starts hearing noises down the corridor. And he goes and he discovers that his spider sense happens, and he witnesses Peter of his world fighting the Green Goblin, who has an amazing design. Like, all the villains have great designs in this universe, right? They're amazing. Like, as amazing as the heroes are, every villain has been given, like, their own unique look for this movie, and it works really good. The Green Goblin's like a big dragon horned orc thing, and it works. So Peter's fighting the Green Goblin, trying to like say, hey, we can't, you know, this Brooklyn isn't zoned for a super collider or a black hole. So the quips are great. Like, if you love Spider-Man for his quips, this is the movie to see, because he doesn't stop using them. Even Peter B. Parker, who is the Spider-Man of a different universe, an older, schlubbier Peter, who, you know, got a divorce from his wife because he's been Spider-Man too long and he's not ready to move on to the next phase of his life, or like having kids and stuff, because he's worried, he's afraid. Even he quips a whole bunch. Like, it's good. It really, really works. But, so Miles sees Peter fighting the Green Goblin. He almost gets in an accident where he himself dies, but Peter saves him, and Peter's like, hey, whoa, wait. You're like me. Okay, it's alright. And Miles is like, I don't want to be like you. And he's like, I don't think you have a choice. But it's okay, I'm going to take care of this real quick. And if you want, I'm going to show you the ropes. I want to help you, you know, get through this. You know, you're not going to have to do this alone like I did. You know, just give me a second. So give me a second. And, yep, I still got to do my job. Peter does his best to try to stop the Super Collider, which is actually opening portals to different universes, because Wilson Fisk has an agenda, the Kingpin. And so, due to the Green Goblin forcing Peter into the open dimensional hydrogen collidery bullshit, it does call the other spider people, but it also causes the hydrogen collider to explode, more or less. And it also ends the life of Peter Parker. Kingpin kills him on screen. Like, there's a little bit of a cutaway, but not so much. He's just like, wham. You see it. It's brutal. So, you know, cover your kid's eyes if you're worried about it. But, yeah, he dies pretty hard in this movie. So there's like a big, like, you know, memorial for Spider-Man, of course, because, you know, everybody loves Spider-Man. And Miles feels super responsible because he didn't really do anything to help save him, because what is he supposed to do? But he knows he has to stop the collider because Peter gave him like a special drive or whatever to shut it down. He's like, you gotta do this, you're the only one who can. And then he dies. So, Miles doesn't, Peter does. There's a great Stan Lee cameo that I just bawled like super hard through, because I don't want to, like, it's good, right? And so Miles is trying to learn to be Spider-Man on his own, and it doesn't go well. He jumps off a building because comic books told him to, and he breaks the goober, the little override key, and so he goes to Peter's grave. He's like, I can't do this, man. Like, And that's when he meets Peter B. Parker, and they get into all kinds of crazy shenanigans together. Like, Peter B. Parker does not want to train Miles at all. He just wants to go home, but he can't do that without Miles. So there you have it. Like, Miles helps Peter in ways that Peter wasn't expecting. It's really great. There's sort of like a father-son bonding experience, sort of, between them. Not entirely, but, like, it's really good. And I don't want to give too much of that away. Like, after that, we meet the rest of the Spider Gang. We meet Gwen Stacy. They go to Aunt May's house, which is really hard for Peter and Aunt May. Also made me cry because Peter in this world just died. This Peter B. Parker's Aunt May, he had to bury her because she died of old age. So it was really weird for both of them. But it's a really good scene. She's like, "You look tired, Peter." He's like, "I am tired." He's like, and she's like, "And older, and fatter, like thicker." Like, so they meet with all the other Spider people, and they're like, "One of us has to stay behind to destroy the Collider." Everybody volunteers to do it. Miles is like, "You can't. If you stay here, you'll die because your atoms, they reveal in the movie that their atoms can't be on this plane, on that plane of existence. They're breaking down, cellular deterioration." And so Miles is like, "I'm going to do it. No worries, no problems. It's me. I'm going to do it." And Peter B. Parker's like, "Yeah, this kid, he can turn invisible. He's fucking cool." He's like, "Go ahead, turn invisible." Miles tries. He's like, "He can't do it on command." He's like, but he's got like a shocky thing. Do the shocky thing. And Miles is like, "I can't do that on command." He can't do it on command. He can do a lot of other things, though. What else can you do? He's like, "Just those two things." Just those two things. It's like, it's really great. And if I ruined that joke for you, it's because I told you there were going to be spoilers. And you should have listened to me. Anyway, moving on. So, all the other Spider people are like, "Fine, cool. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? Can you do this?" But most importantly, every time you get hit, can you get back up? And they are like putting him through the ringer. Also, Nicolas Cage as Spider-Noir is great. Like, him and Spider-Ham provide most of, like, the comedy, and it's amazing. They work well off of each other, and it's great. John Mulaney is amazing Spider-Ham. He delivers some great lines. Spider-Noir, one of his things is he gets, like, really confused about a Rubik's Cube, and he's just looking at it, he's like, "Is it purple?" And because his world is black and white, and Spider-Ham's like, "No." It's like, it's a good scene. But they keep knocking Miles down, and eventually he stops getting up. Like, and it's kind of a heart-wrenching scene in and of itself, because even Peter B. Parker's like, "Hey, this might be too much. Like, this might not be good." So they count Miles out. Miles, goes to his Uncle Aaron's place to write him a note, like, "I gotta do, like, a thing, and I'm scared, and I don't know if I can do it." This is where he finds out that his uncle's the Prowler. Goes back to Aunt May's house. The Sinister Six, minus Kingpin, show up. There's a big fight, and Peter B. Parker realizes that Miles is not ready for this. And he kind of, after his Uncle Aaron dies, Miles' Uncle Aaron dies, he goes back to his dorm room to, like, be mad, but he's like, "I'm gonna go to that Collider. I'm gonna, like, fuck Kingpin up." And Peter B. Parker shows up with the rest of the gang. He's like, "Look, you're not going. You will get yourself killed. I'm gonna stay behind. It's okay. It's alright. Sometimes things don't work out for people. Sometimes sacrifices have to be made." And he webs Miles up there. Yeah. Miles does get a breakthrough, and he goes back to Aunt May's place, gets his own suit. It's super cool, because the rest of the time in this movie, he's running around in, like, a store-bought Spider-Man costume. It's super funny. But, yeah. So, the movie ends with everyone going home, more or less. Miles saves the multiverse. There's a great after-credits scene with Miguel O'Hara. Definitely stick around after the credits to see that. Like, if you made it to the end of this video, you probably already did see it. But if you left the theater earlier, are watching this, realize you didn't see the after credits scene, and feel dumb about it, I mean, it's on YouTube. You could probably watch it. But go watch it again. Go see it in theaters again. I'm going to go see it again because why wouldn't I? This is such a good movie. I don't know what to tell you. Other than, like, the characters work well off each other. It's a good story. It's heartwarming. It's the epitome of a Spider-Man movie. Like, it is what every other Spider-Man movie should have been. Just in tone and presentation and execution. Like, this is a Spider-Man movie you have been waiting for your whole life. Go see it. And I haven't really spoiled a whole lot of things. I mean, I did spoil some really good jokes. And some plot points. Like, but if you're not new to Spider lore, you kind of already knew some of these things, like Uncle Aaron being a villain. I mean, he's the Iron Spider and Ultimate Spider-Man, not the Prowler, but still. Boom. There you go. I won't tell you why Wilson Fisk feels that he needs to open alternate universes. I'm not going to tell you that. I'm not going to tell you who all the villains are. They do have some super dope designs, though, and you're going to appreciate them. You're going to appreciate this whole movie. Go see it. And that is my time. Yep. So what's coming next? Naruto video. It's not late. You're just early. And as always, until next time, love comics, love cartoons, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!